Hello and welcome. In today's tutorial we are going to learn how to make this beautiful Peter Pan color we have here. I made this dress for a 4-year-old child, and in my previous video I illustrated how to draft and sew this dress from scratch. So I'll be using the pattern I used for the previous video. If you haven't seen that video yet, then kindly check the description box below. The link to that video will be left in the description box below. So let's get started with today's tutorial. So these are my pattern pieces. I have both the front and then the back here. And to make my Peter Pan color, I'm going to be matching the front and then the back together using the shoulders. So this is it, the back being aligned to the front on the shoulders this way. Then I'm going to mark about 0.75 inches from the shoulder of the front pattern. I'm going to go down, mark 0.75 because that's how much I want to overlap the back pattern on the front. You can do more than 0.75, but I chose to do the 0.75 inches. So I'll mark the 0.75 here, and then I'll take the back pattern still aligned on the front by the shoulders. Then I'm going to slip it such that it will touch the armhole area, will touch the 0.75 mark I did around the armhole. So take note, I'm not shifting the neck region, I'm only shifting the armhole area. So shift until it touches the 0.75 mark, and then I'm going to hold it down with a sellotape just to keep it in place. So after securing it together, I will now determine how wide I want this Peter Pan color to be. So for this dress, I don't want the color to extend beyond the armhole area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark about 1.5 inches from the neck towards the armhole. I want to leave a bit of space around the armhole area. So I'm marking 1.5 inches, mark it from the neck, and then mark it across the entire region towards my center back as well. And then towards the front, I also mark the 1.5 inches. So for the center front, I'm going to give it a bit of shape. So just shape it a bit, and then just connect it to the 1.5 inch mark on the pattern. Then I'm going to just connect the lines with some broken lines here. When I'm satisfied with what I'm doing, then I'll come in with the curves and then draw the curves on this pattern. So after drawing out my Peter Pan color, I'm going to just cut it out. I've labeled it the front part of this pattern and then the back. I'm going to cut this out beautifully. So this is the fabric I'll be using to cut out my Peter Pan. So I've folded this fabric into, this is the first fold here. I'm going to fold it again, just placing my color to be sure that it can fit on this fabric. I'll fold it again a second time and a third time. So in all, I'll be having 4 folds. So the idea behind this is I want to cut out all the 4 colors together on one piece of fabric. So I'll be cutting the upper color and then the under color all together. So I'll go ahead and then pin my pattern on the fabric this way. Then I'll add seam allowances all around. I'll be doing 0.5 all around this color. So I'll cut out my pattern pieces. Remember, I'm cutting out 4 pieces at the same time. So these are my pattern pieces for the color. I'm now going to mark out the wrong side of this fabric and determine which of them will be my upper color and which will be my under color I'll be working with. So the next I'm going to do is to match the upper color to the under color for each of the colors. Then I'll head to my sewing machine and then stitch the color down on 1/2 inch. So the area I'll be attaching to the neck region, I'm not going to be stitching that, so I'll just stitch all around except for the area that I'll be attaching this color to my neck on the main dress. So I've stitched it down. This is what it looks like here. I'm going to all around except for the neck region. I'm going to come in with my scissors and then trim off the excess from the seam allowances that I just sewed. This will help my color to lay flat when I press it. So after cutting out the excess, I'm going to turn the color inside out and then give it a very good press. So after I give this a very good press on my dress that I drafted and sewed in my previous video, I created a notch on the center front. So I'm going to just put this color on from the center front, both of them, from that notch in the midsection here, and then I'll hold the color down with pins like I've done here. So if you haven't seen the tutorial on how to make this dress, kindly check the description box below. The link will be left there. So I went to my sewing machine and I ran loose stitches on this color onto the dress. So this is just to secure the color onto the dress. So the next I'm going to do is to bring in my bias tape. So I have a bias tape here that I made. This is about 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to just put my bias tape on the neck region this way. From one end to the other, I'll hold it down with pins. Then I'll head to my sewing machine and then stitch the bias tape and the color on the dress using 1/2 inch. This was the seam allowance I added when I was drafting this dress. So I'll head to my sewing machine and then stitch it down on 1/2 inch seam allowance. So this is what the dress looks like after stitching it down on 1/2 inch. So the next I will do is to trim off the excess on the neck. It's important to do this so that your color will sit well on the dress, and also it will not be too heavy when we are turning the bias tape to complete the color of this dress. So kindly trim off all excesses on the neck region. And then afterwards we are going to just turn the bias tape again on 1/2 inch from one end to the other, from the center back where the zipper is, and then we'll head to our sewing machine and stitch it down on 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we are done with this color. Extremely simple to make, very easy to draft and sew. Check out the detailed video on how to make this dress with puff sleeves in the description box below. And in our next video, I'll illustrate how I made the puff sleeves on this dress. So please do well to come back and check it out. Thank you so much for making time to watch this video.